What don't you any longer need in your life that has in any way created problems for you? What don't you need? What don't you need? Let me give you an example. Let's say you say, Gary, I'd be a lot healthier person if I just had more time, for myself. But by the time I take care of the kids and go shopping and clean the house and take care of the dog, there's no time left to do the stuff you're suggesting. Okay? That means that your time wasn't your own. In a given day, you weren't on your essential to-do list. Everything else was. Does that sound familiar? So at the end of the day, you're just tired. You want to be healthy, you just don't know what to surrender. So now I want you to make a list of everything you do during a day. This is reorganizing your time. This is number 5. And the 4 and 5 kind of go together. And you're going to look at your time and say, in this 24 hours, what don't I need to do anymore that I have? In other words, maybe you've been doing things that were essential at one point that you did, but now they're not. For instance, how many times do you cook a meal for people who are easy enough to cook a meal for themselves? But you've been the one who's been the cook, so now they expect you to be the cook. They can go and watch television while you're cooking. Has that ever happened to you? Yeah, is that familiar? You think, why shouldn't I be in there watching television? I work all day, huh? Or after they eat, you clean up. Why? Right? Because you got used to it at some time. So I'm saying I want you to go through every single thing you do in a day and say, what takes my time that I'm no longer willing to have done? And then you look at approximately how much time that is, and you start to save that time. That time is now your time. Now you're going to negotiate with people. For instance, any of you got kids? Teenagers, yeah? Okay, here's what you do with a teenager. Say that you respect them, and you know how wonderful it is to be a teenager because you were one. But they've never been a parent. So they don't have the advantage of understanding how wonderful it is to be a parent, how proud they are a parent can be of a child. But now you've gone from the teenagers no longer wanting input from you anyhow. You're aware of that, right? In fact, they actually resent you because you're corny. You're kind of an embarrassment frequently for them to introduce to their friend. Mom, don't say anything. Blah, blah, blah. Dad, get out of the way. Like they no longer see you in the same role. You're trying to play the same role, right? And they think they're far hipper than you are. And in some cases, they may know things you don't know. But it doesn't mean they have the innate wisdom you have, because they've never had to be responsible for the freedoms that you have given them or they have exercised. And freedom without responsibility creates a conflict. So what you do, you negotiate. You say, now, I have to have time for myself since I've done what I can to share my time with you. And to help me, we're going to change. I'd like for you to share in the responsibilities of the house. Shopping, cooking, cleaning. Okay? And you tell me why this is good for you and me. Now, when a child has to rationalize the benefits of a goodness, then they're accepting there's goodness in it. Now, some kids will reject it and be angry about it. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. No, you don't have to, you choose to. There's a difference. You choose to go to one of 65,000 classes you have available, but I have to make sure that there's food here. I have to, part of my moral, parental, and legal responsibility, see that there's a shelter for you, this house, that costs money. There's food, and that it's an environment that's a healthy environment. Those are necessities. That's my work. This is work. It's a career. What you're doing is you're learning, but beyond that learning, you got a lot of play time. So you're going to have to honor that I have to have some time to myself now. And you have to learn how to be an adult, as also appreciate what adult goes through, so it makes it easier for you later in life. A lot of kids, after first initially rejecting it, will begin to appreciate it, especially if you also suggest that part of what you want to do with that time is spend some more time with them. doing some things that you haven't possibly been able to do earlier in life. Maybe take some trips together. Do some hobbies together. Do something where you're doing it as equals and share it as an equal. Say, I'm not doing this as a parent, I'm doing this as an equal. Because if you don't create a friendship by the age of 10, then you're just going to be a parent and forgotten. If you create a friendship, then you have a friendship for life. And there's a role where the parent becomes a friend. That's important. So that's one idea, that take time back. Now then think of all the radio you listen to in a day. How much of it is really essential? And keep the essential and eliminate everything else. How much television do you watch in a day? The average American watches almost 6 hours. But you don't realize how much time you watch television because you think it's downtime because you're generally watching it when you're too tired to do anything else. You kind of collapse later in the evening after you've done all the basics and try to catch your breath, and now you didn't realize 2 or 3 hours go by. Okay, so I'm saying, as of today, don't watch any more television for a month. Any television, none. Also, no reading newspapers, magazines. No newspapers, magazines, no television for a month. All right? Because, believe it or not, this takes away time. Now, it's not that all television is bad. That would be irresponsible. Some very entertaining, interesting things on television. I'm simply trying to show you what you would do with your time in bits and pieces. It adds up. I said I was going to give you 6 hours of quality time back. Right? That's what this is about. You're going to have 6 hours a day you didn't have before. And think of all you can do in 6 hours. That's a lot of good time. So this is how it's done. And even how you organize yourself in your shopping, even in juicing. In the morning, when I'm juicing, I juice about 5 mornings and I buy it at the health food store. But I go in and I have the health food store make me up a whole bunch and take it home while I'm doing my shopping. But then I juice everything in the morning and refrigerate it. And then when I go out, just like there, I've got my juice, brought my juice for this afternoon. But I do it all at once. But while I'm doing the juicing, I also might do my salad for the day. I'll make my salad at the same time. I'll cook my rice. So by the time I leave, my main meal is done and ready to eat. I just have to refrigerate it until I'm ready to eat it. That way, when I go to eat it, I put on some nice music, I relax, and enjoy my meal. That saves me time, but also gives me quality of time. So it's not only saving time, it's quality of what I want to do. So if I want to rest, I don't rest by watching television. I rest by resting. Just rest. So that's also what you can do. So this is an important exercise. It really shifts where you're putting your energy and what really don't give us what we need. So those are the exercises for next week. Yes? What? This is getting rid of conflict because it's taking two things that cannot be in equal amounts: distraction and essentialness. I'm trying to get you to focus upon what is essential in your life. And isn't quality time essential? So I'm taking the non-essential, the things that take our essential time, and distract it. Young kids, do it as a fun game with them. It's the game that you make it. And that just shows how creative you can be. Now, this is not so much homework as it is simply a closing ideological thought for you. When you look at all that you're doing in a day, you have to keep focused upon how important it is that, in effect, you're nurturing yourself on all levels. So you have to make that list of everything that's essential in your life, all the essentials. Remember last week I said make a list of all the things that are essential? But then also make a list of where you're at in that. Give it a measurement. If exercise is essential and you're only doing 20%, then you've got to raise it. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to raise everything to 100%. Remember, we have time here. We want to do things in a level, in a way that you can do them without upsetting your life and creating additional problems for yourself. But you've got to be going forward. The key is always go forward. Even if it's in smaller increments, at least you're committed to that change and you're uncompromising in the commitment. That's what's important, and you're uncompromising in your commitment to make positive, constructive change in your life. But the fact that some change is going to happen slower is okay. Look, if you've got to lose weight, you're not going to lose it all at once. It'd be unhealthy. You're going to lose it gradually. All right? And that's what we want to focus on until our next class. So that ends this particular class.